In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of Tinder profiles from women that are going to blow your mind. You may feel depressed after looking at them, you may feel angry, but it's my hope that if you watch this video till the end, you ultimately feel empowered. Now, you probably noticed that as a man, it takes a huge amount of work and self-development in order to be able to attract the attention of a decent quality woman. You've got to get a good job, you've got to become successful, you've got to go to the gym, get a good body, you've got to look smacks, you've got to work on your personality, read self-help books, get involved in personal development. In terms of cultivating your masculinity, it takes thousands and thousands of hours of effort. You've got to be very, very disciplined, and only at the end of that journey does it seem like you've got a chance at dating the quality women. That's the harsh reality of the dating market in modern Western culture, is that men are really, really low. That's where they start. And so you need to cultivate yourself and become a top quality man to even really get a chance. And of course, as difficult as that is for most men, don't you dare expect a single shred of sympathy, because if you ever complain like, wow, it's really hard for me to get a girlfriend, you're likely to be met with accusations of privilege and patriarchy and what? You think you're entitled to a woman? That objection might feel a lot more legitimate if it was applied equally across both genders, but of course it's not. It's only applied to men. The cultural message of the moment is that men, you have to do better. You have an obligation to women to do better, to be better, to improve yourself. Men as a default are obviously just trash, but they owe it to the women in their lives to keep on improving, to become the best possible version of themselves so that they reach a level that women will find acceptable. And of course, the reason for that message is not because there's actually any interest in making men's life better on the whole. Nobody really cares about that. No, it's so that they can be more useful for the women in their life, to be better allies, to be better providers, better protectors, whatever it is. It's one of those disgusting ironies that even when it seems like people care about men improving and being better, it ultimately just comes back to, well, it's because we want to make women's lives easier. And like I said, I don't really have an objection to the idea of high standards per se. Like, it's good that we should expect a lot of ourselves so that we have motivation to improve. It just stings that it's so one-sided in its application. It's so blatantly sexist. The mainstream culture never promotes the message that women are fundamentally trash and they start at this really low level, but they have an obligation to improve themselves, to get better, to work hard so that they can finally be acceptable to men. You can imagine how well that would go if you ever told women the message, you need to work hard. As a young woman, you got to work to improve yourself, to cultivate your femininity so that you'll one day be of use to a man. Anybody promoting that message would be absolutely slammed as the worst kind of patriarchal, sexist, misogynist. The fundamental idea of telling women that they have any kind of obligation or duty to improve themselves feels in this cultural moment as though it's massively sexist. The message that we give young women isn't that they have some obligation to improve or better themselves. It's that they need to accept themselves as they are. That's what's empowering, not improvement, but acceptance. And if anything, women, it's empowering for you to expect more, to demand more from the men around you. That's what's empowering to a woman, not to better yourself to meet high standards, but demand that he does so for your sake. That's what female empowerment looks like. And the hypocrisy of this is completely lost on women. If you point out to them these outrageous sexist double standards, it's like they've never even considered it before. And for a certain fringe of like the radical kind of feminist element of womanhood in our society, they don't even mind that it's hypocritical. That doesn't bother them, these double standards. In fact, they'll try and defend it because they deep down believe that men are trash. I'm not even sure it's accurate to say it's the fringe. There seems to be a sizable element of the female population that sincerely, if you really put it to them at their core, they believe that women are superior to men. I think that I was presenting it as though it's a fringe because there is an element of women who may be ashamed to say that. Like, they wouldn't defend that rationally in a discussion, even if they believed it, because they know how sexist it sounds. But increasingly, it seems as though there is this demographic of women that strongly believe in female superiority and they're sick of feeling ashamed about it. And so they more openly want to just declare, yeah, women are better. I always find it fascinating how small the list of qualities that a man is allowed to say he's looking for in a partner is. Like, if a man is creating a dating profile for like a website or an app and he's saying, this is what I'm looking for in a woman, it's so small the amount of things that he's allowed to say that he wants. What could he put there that's not going to offend anybody? It's not going to come across as sexist. He could say, I'm looking for a girl with a good sense of humor, a nice personality. Maybe that's fine. But what about all the things that he can't say? Like, can he put down, I'm looking for a girlfriend who is beautiful, who's physically attractive. What are you kidding? You think women just be judged based on their looks, you sexist? Or I'm looking for a woman who is younger than me, as basically every man is. You disgusting creep. Are you intimidated by older women? How pathetic. I want my partner to be thin. Body shaming. I want her to have a low partner count. Slut shaming. I'm not even sure that you could say something that should be absolutely basic and fundamental, like I'm looking for a feminine woman, because in this culture, even that word seems to have so much stigma attachment. What? So you're threatened by women who are independent and in control? You just want some docile, submissive, feminine woman? God, what a loser you are. The window of what men are allowed to say they're looking for in women is so small, especially when you consider that in contrast to all the things that a woman can say that she's looking for. And the higher her expectations, the higher her standards, that doesn't bring her any shame. That brings her glory. That brings her approval and applause. Like, yes, you go, girl. You're a queen. You deserve everything. Even if it's really superficial, like I want a man who's tall. I want a man who's rich. Nothing to do with the actual substance of personality or character of the man. Still, yes, that's female empowerment. It's empowering because a woman is saying that. It would not be empowering the other way around. Now, I want to show you a couple of dating profiles. I've taken these from a subreddit that's like dedicated to, demonstrating like delusional female expectations and entitlement in the dating market. So these aren't typical of like, this is what all women are doing, but they are real profiles and I find them fascinating. All right, this one from a girl who's 21. PSA, if you're under 6 foot, swipe left. I'm not a bitch, I promise. I'm looking for a boo my parents actually like. I'm a Taurus, but that doesn't mean anything. Still worth mentioning though, I guess. Treat me like the princess I am. 6 inches or less. Swipe left too. If you don't look like your pictures on here, honey, swipe left. What a strong, powerful woman who knows what she wants and she's unashamed to ask for it in men. Good for her. Get those men to meet those standards. But check out this gem of a girl, 21 years old. My mum always said, if a guy can't help you before y'all are together, he can't help you when you are. So don't swipe right unless you're willing to help me with some bills, because I'm an expecting mother and behind on some bills. I mean, it baffles the mind. Can you imagine the shame and stigma if a man was to post some kind of equivalent to this? Look at how delusionally entitled she is. She's pregnant with another man's child. You would think that would humble her and lower her expectations, but no, she wants a man to start contributing financially before they're even together. And in case you're thinking that those profiles are only that entitled because the women are young and therefore desirable, check out this one here. This woman is 46 years old. I'm looking for an equal and someone who will inspire me. I will not settle for less. At 46, you'd think maybe it's time to start settling, compromising, but no, she will not settle. Quality is an investment, and I'm now ready to make time for the man I've been holding out for. Don't you love the self-awareness at like 46? There's no responsibility of like, I wonder why in my 28 years of being an adult, I haven't settled down. Let me just tell you straight up, it's because I'm now finally ready. What a message of empowerment. And of course, her expectations are absolutely through the roof here. I'm attracted to tall, dark, muscular, well-groomed, manly men with nice smiles and kind eyes. But then again, who isn't? I'm not superficial. I'm not superficial, but if you aren't at least 5'11", I won't be interested. If you're expecting her to, at 46 years old, be reasonable in her expectations, you're forgetting one important thing. She's a woman. I got one more here. This is from a woman who's 45, and I chose this one because it was just fascinating to me how long and specific her list of what she wants in a man is. Listen to this paragraph. I am searching for someone who shares a passion for life. He is genuine, polite, self-motivated, intelligent, successful, usually with an entrepreneurial spirit, ambitious, lots of fun, easygoing, independent, emotionally secure, affectionate, respectful, respectable, physically fit, lives a healthy lifestyle. He knows how to treat a lady. He has social etiquette. He enjoys pillow talk and loves to have fun. We're compatible on all levels. La, 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 la. I can't even finish it. 45 years old and she's still single and she wants all of these boxes ticked. So what is the lesson here? When you see all of these women with their incredibly high standards and their lack of shame at broadcasting that, like, yeah, this is what I want. I'm not going to settle for less than this. As a man, I actually think you've got to be taking some of that shock that you're feeling and turning it into inspiration. If they can be that shameless, then maybe you can release some of the shame that you might feel at wanting to have high standards. If you're genuinely a low quality guy, like you just have a nasty personality and you're mean to people and you've no no ambition, you haven't achieved anything, then yeah, you're not entitled to having a girlfriend. But if you're one of the typical viewers of my channel and you watch this stuff because you're interested in improving yourself, you're interested in making yourself a high quality man, then don't be afraid to have the standards you're looking for in a girlfriend reflect all of that hard work that you've done. As we just saw, women are not ashamed to say that they have high standards, so why should you be ashamed? You're really only harming yourself. The truth is that in our society, a lot of the anti-man messaging, it exists as a sort of test in order to weed out the lower tier men. Yeah, there's a lot of like negative messaging from women, a lot of like shaming and insulting, criticizing men, you know, trying to keep them in their place, trying to keep them down. Like, don't you dare as a man expect too much. And it works because only genuinely strong, high quality men are actually able to bust out of that narrow confining prison. It takes a lot of courage to go against what society is telling you to be. And so if the constant messaging that you're getting is be small, you know, lower your expectations, be ashamed of yourself as a man, you can see how only the men of genuine, authentic courage and confidence are actually going to be able to buck that social trend, risk social alienation, and actually claim their position as a high quality man who deserves a high quality partner. The lower tier men are not going to be able to pass that test because they're still caught on the idea that if women socially disapprove of them, it's going to be negative. It's going to impact negatively their chances in the dating market. And so if the messaging they're getting from all the women is that like men are trash and they expect too much, they're like, okay, I need to fit in with the women. I can't be socially ostracized. And so if they want me to be small and pathetic, I'm going to act that way in the hope that they reward me at some point for my conformity. It's never going to happen. It is a failed strategy. I don't care what the culture is telling you about how much it appreciates how as a man you're staying small and not rocking the boat too much. No, stop paying attention to the words, listen to the actions. Have you noticed the men that get the approval, the men who get the success are not afraid to be big, to take up a bit of space. The men with really high quality girlfriends are men who had standards of really high quality. And guess what? Women are actually attracted to that because it shows confidence, it shows self-esteem, it gives them something to chase for. It appeals to their hypergamy because no women date as a favor. No women find pathetic men and say, oh, I'm just going to do something nice for you. I'm going to date you because I feel sorry for you. No, women are incredibly selfish when it comes to dating. They want to feel like they're getting a good deal. And so if they encounter a really confident big man who has high standards, they think, yes, if I get him, then I've obviously got a really good deal. Hypergamy, satisfied. So don't be afraid to say things like, I want a woman with no mental health issues. I want a woman who doesn't have financial debt. I want a woman who's beautiful, who's young, who hasn't slept around a lot. I want a woman who treats me nice, who's feminine and kind. Yeah, initially that may attract a little bit of backlash and it's going to test your resolve. How important is social approval to you? As a masculine man, hopefully you can ignore that and see it for what it is. It's just a test because if you stand by your convictions and say, yeah, I'm a high quality man. I've worked really hard on myself. I want a partner who complements that. Women will be like, oh, yeah, of course, no problems. I understand. It's crazy how quick they can flip because they're waiting to see whether or not they can rock you. But if you pass their test and you're genuinely unmovable and masculine, women will fall into that frame. I know it can be frightening to publicly declare that you have high standards because you're going to encounter all kinds of challenges, insults perhaps, but please trust me, there's really no other way through this. If you don't have high standards for the woman who's going to become your girlfriend, you're not going to get a high quality girlfriend. It's as simple as that. So it really comes down to this. How selfish are you willing to be? What are you willing to give up for your own happiness? If other people are temporarily going to disapprove of you, are you willing to stomach that? Hopefully, if you're developing your masculinity, then your answer is a strong, confident, resounding yes. Let me ask you this question. Do you think it's possible for a relationship between a man and a woman to function if they don't have shared passions, shared interests? I'm talking about in the long term, like if all they really have in common is like a sexual attraction and sort of a mutual sort of admiration for each other, but there's actually no activities or interests that they share together. Is the relationship going to work out? This is the topic of my latest Patreon video and actually served as a really interesting springboard into a lot of areas of different psychology, the differences between men and women. If this is something something that you've grappled with, you've been attracted to women that you haven't really had anything in common with, and you'd like to unpack that, then please come and sign up at my Patreon. You get access to that video instantly, plus 280 other videos that exist in my back catalog. The value for money is absolutely enormous. It only costs $7 and you can see all those videos instantly. Did you know that for every video I post here on YouTube, I post an additional bonus video on my Patreon? That means that at the moment, you're only seeing half of the total content that I create. If you'd like access to the other half, then come see me at Patreon. Or perhaps you're interested in getting some advice for your dating life, for your relationships, and you want to pick my brain, then hit me up on Hey Hero. Tell me everything that's going on for you, and I'll create a personalized video just for you. And lastly, have you done my paid course 100 Sides of Women yet? I understand it's a bit of a commitment because there's 6.5 hours of video footage, but if you're interested in knowing how this theory actually applies in real world situations, then this is perfect for you. I know for me, I've always found that information settles better in my brain if I've seen it applied in an actual story with real people. That's what this course does. The reviews have been absolutely incredible. It's very affordable. It only costs $50. There's a link down below to a video that explains how the whole thing works.